you know, I look at the recording later and sometimes we're already going, oh, hello. Okay. There we go. We've got some Zoomers. We've got some live stream people. We've got, oh, Maya's looking at us on the live stream. I've got us on 3 screens here. Technology, the age of technology. What are you gonna, what are you gonna do? So, for anyone out there who just clicked this and was like, I don't know, what the heck is this? I'm gonna stream into this thing. I'm Aubrey.
I'm Maya.
This is Maya. This is the Eros Revolution podcast. We are wild, erotic
Women.
what's the athletes of life? What's the thing?
Triathlon or
Yeah. So it's the Olympic athletes of life. You can't tell yet, but you're gonna be able to soon. And so we like to record our podcasts live. We like to live on the edge and record our podcasts live and have the recordings available on the Eros platform later as well. But yeah, I mean, we're always having conversations about sort of the erotic view of culture and all these different articles that come out and different videos that we find on social media. And at some point, we were basically like, we should just record ourselves talking about these things because we're saying really smart shit. Oh God, I'm not supposed to swear. Okay, no swearing, no swearing. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard not to swear today because it's a passionate, you know, it's a passionate topic today. When is it not really though? I mean, we literally don't know how to do it any other way except passionate. But today we're gonna talk about this phenomenon in the world that if you are a person who is doing stuff in the world, see, I'm doing better not swearing. If you're a person doing stuff in the world and you are, oh, find that arena quote for me. You know that one? If you're someone who is, she's going to find this really cool quote, but if you're like in the arena of life, you're doing stuff like you are cultivating power in yourself as a woman, like you have a certain, you know, like a beauty or a wisdom or a genius that you're cultivating and working on allowing to express through you. If you're like in the passionate arena of life, yeah, this one is called, such a cool quote. It's Theodore Roosevelt, 1910. Wow, the man in the arena. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, or woman, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. I really love that. Wow, I needed that. So today's episode is on obsessed fans and haters. But really, it's like, let me say it again. Sorry, I might have to refer to that here and there. But the cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat, you know, when you are in the arena of life, in whatever way that you are, stands and haters are inevitable. I don't know if you guys know the term stands, but it's like a super fan, basically, is what it is. And actually, Eminem released a cool, what looks like a really cool, like documentary type. It's like a documentary and also sort of feels almost like a little bit of like a movie memoir or something of his music and his life and his relationship with his fans. And yeah, so there's a no way to avoid that type of thing and figuring out how the heck you relate with the friends in life who distantly hate on you because you're in the arena and they're not. Yeah, I think not. And so that is really that's what today's talk is about. So I have kind of an outline that I'm going to generally refer to but probably also deviate from at any damn time that I please. Um, and then I have a few videos for you guys that I found on TikTok that I felt like sort of pointed to this topic a little bit. And then I have a one that I particularly love that I'm going to end our talk on that I picked out as a surprise for Maya. So, all right. So when I started kind of putting this talk together and this idea of, when you are someone in the arena, like when you are someone who carries power inside of you, I started thinking about how that relates to this idea throughout history, or, well, this reality throughout history for women, that every time you unconceal your power as a woman, you will be met with persecution in some way. And so for women, this is just the line that we're constantly navigating and deciding on which side of it will we fall. And that's kind of in the moment on a daily basis, and it's in a larger context in life too. And I do think that there really is a line that you can choose to cross as a woman or not. And if you don't, you're living a life where you're kind of concealing, you're either to a medium degree or an extreme degree concealing your power as a woman, concealing the fact that, women magnetically move the world around them through their biology, however conscious or unconscious they are about it. This side of the line is I'm going to conceal how much power I have. I'm going to conceal how much desire I have. I'm going to conceal how much erotic hunger I have, or, how much like hunger for being in the arena, whatever your arena would be. I'm going to press all of that down, and I'm going to, kind of build a life on top of that truth. And then the crossing of the line, and then there's like being on a line and being like, cross it, go back, cross it, okay, inch back, and I spent a good many years doing that. And then I do think there is a certain point where you can just cross it, and you are kind of known forever after that, by your scarlet letter, whatever that looks like, like you're branded however you're branded, and then you get to learn how to relate and work with whatever labels you're given by the culture or by people or by society after that. What are some of those labels? Just the basic sexuality ones. If you cross the line and you're like, I'm a sexual woman, I like sex, then you get
I mean, I'm like, are these cuss words?
oh, right. Then you get SLUT and you get WHORE. It's like when you have to have a kid put earmuffs, like YouTube earmuffs. You get honestly dangerous. Like you're immediately dangerous because you're upsetting the status quo. If you're like, yeah, I'm a sexual woman, I like sex. I am personally like, I don't have a problem with any which way anybody wants to live their life. I personally tend towards non-monogamy. All of those things are pretty controversial statements. Those are all really disruptive to the status quo. So you get dangerous. And then if you cross the line around,
I mean, also like immature.
oh, that's such an insidious one. Oh, I hate that one. Like what's the math on that one? Like you're too immature to hold it together, I guess, like to be like composed and be like,
To follow a masculine order.
oof.
If only you just need a little more time. You just need to learn a little more.
You're so young and impetuous, you can't keep it, you can't color inside the lines properly.
You'll learn.
Oof. Oh, that's such a good one. That's such a good one. I think that one too, because that reminds me of like when it is in a way easier to do that and get away with it, like in the status quo and in society when you're younger. You're kind of given a little bit more of like a grace period to, figure out how to color inside the lines. And then if you, after a certain age or after a certain point, if you haven't figured that out, then you're just immature. And you're like, you didn't, you're not properly composing yourself in society as a woman. That's a really good one. So my point being, like, there really is a line. And as a woman, you're always playing with that line. You're always either on this side or on this side, or you're towing it in some way, or you're forgetting why you used to conceal your power and you're saying, F it, I'm gonna just cross it and be over here. And then you get to experience the very real consequences of that and find out, do you have the wherewithal? Do you have the chutzpah? Do you have the brashness and the audacity to keep owning it, even though there is a cost to it? And so I think there is also then a very real relationship between women who have boldly crossed that line past the point of no return. Maya and I have crossed that line past the point of no return. I can say that with total certainty. Conviction. Conviction is a great word. That's such a great multi-meaning word, because conviction can be what has you cross that line, and conviction can also be one of the risks that you take. We have some convicted friends, convicted in multiple ways. So there's a relationship between the women who have crossed that line and the women who not only haven't, but have like decided, I'm not going to, and that's not even just individuals, but it's kind of like, it's like it becomes a meme. It becomes kind of like almost a societal meme and a mob. It can also be kind of a mob, and it can also be a flavor of a thing that comes out in a variety of ways. Like I, of course, think of comment sections. Comment sections have such a weird magnetism for the shadow of the culture. Like, if you want to know the shadow of anything, just comment sections. Like, it's fascinating. But one thing that happens with, so we've got the women on who over here, and we've got the women over here. And one thing that happens is a type of fixation. Women over here who are like, I've successfully, good luck to you, however long you can suppress that thing. Okay, go for it. But I've successfully subdued my power. I've composed myself according to the masculine structures and the status quo. And I'm over here behaving myself, like relatively behaving myself. Maybe I party a little bit, or I step out of line, or I do like I like toe the line a little bit, just to get my kicks, just to steal a little bit of juice and eros and electricity from over there, because that's where all of it exists, is across that line, right? That's like where our sexuality is. That's where our eros is. That's where our relationship with our erotic being is across that line. This is why me and Maya live over there, because at some point in life, both of us were just like, I'll take whatever consequences come. I just can't live any other way. Like living on this side of it has no meaning and no color and isn't real. And I just can't breathe over here. And so I'm just going over here and I'll take whatever consequences come with that. And so there's a fascination that then turns into a fixation with people on this side and people on this side. They become very fascinated and fixated with people on this side because they are lacking a direct immersion in that color and that meaning and that electricity and that, kind of like constantly pumping regenerative life. Like all of the life is over here. And they're over here, obeying the rules of the masculine culture. And I'm not talking about men. I'm not speaking negatively about men, because this culture that, kind of follows a masculine ethos is very much held up equally, if not more so, by women, in fact. But, so they're over here obeying the rules of the masculine culture, looking across the little divide. I don't know if it's a river. I don't know if it's like a line in the sand. I don't know what it is, but they're looking across this divide And it's like a freaking party over there. You know, we were walking down the street last night talking about, Maya ended up making a video of me. If you want to look at her Instagram, you can see it. But talking about unconditionality, basically, in an unconditional way of living, where your external conditions could be absolutely anything. And it doesn't mean that you can't feel joy and ease in your body and in your soul at any time, no matter what is happening. Like that's just one benefit of the over here place. You know, when I say it's a party over here, it's that kind of party. It's like a sovereign party. It's like a genuine, deep freedom party. Like it's a, you know, I'm connected to my desire and in a constant relationship with it party. And that it's not easy, but it's deeply fun isn't quite the right word.
Enjoy, and it's enjoyment.
It's a deep enjoyment and gratification. Yeah. And the best you're going to get over on this side is like little hits of that, you know, and you could get a little bit of your satisfaction. You could get a little bit of pleasure, but you're not going to get enjoyment and you're not going to get like deep, true gratification. Like a sustained sense of fulfillment does not exist on this side of the line. And so what happens over here, right, is you get someone who is, well, you get a lot of people who are fixated in a certain way. And it's from a lack of, you know, it's often from feeling powerless, invisible, disconnected from their own erotic being. And looking for external sources. So if you're disconnected from your own erotic being, you have the same desperate hunger that we all have in here as humans for life and meaning and beauty and all of that, you know, like you want to, like everybody has that hunger. And so it's like you're hungry and starving. And so you're going to need a source for it. And if you're not willing to do the work to be a source in yourself of it for yourself and potentially even overflow that and be a source of that for others, then you're going to have to plug into an external source to get it. And that's even not, I mean, that's not going to be like a feast. That's going to be like, what was that one Eros Rev I did? It was like rats and scraps. Like you're not going to eat well plugging into an external source. You're just going to get scraps. But the external source that you're kind of going to automatically search for is going to be like a person who has, you know, radiance, erotic energy. And then maybe depending on what you're into, you know, they might have a certain amount of visibility. They might be somebody who's really in the arena that we talked about in that Theodore Roosevelt quote. You know, someone who has a lot of courage, who's done the work to cultivate their power and their resilience. Maybe somebody who is really creating something in the world that is meaningful and important, you know, like has far-reaching positive benefits for people. Maybe a practice that helps people get into
mystical states.
Yes.
Mystical states of consciousness.
Yeah, and their erotic energies and like learn how to actually do that, you know, and maybe a practice that even potentially could help people with trauma and, you know, not to get too specific, but and so in this fixation, what they'll do is have to plug into this external source in some way. But then there's also a pride. It's not like somebody would go and be like, I'm not generating my own Eros. This is what it's like to be a respectful student who comes and actually requests of someone, hey, will you be my teacher? Will you be my mentor? Or like, will you show me this thing? You know, will you be my friend who shows me this thing? Instead, there's a pride there for most people, and it'll be more like, I'm going to hate on you from a distance, or obsess over you, but also hate on you in that. And that's how I'm gonna latch onto you and draw erotic energy from you because I refuse to produce my own. And so that is how they create significance. So a lot of times people on this side of the line, they're also in their lack of meaning and life and, you know, generating their own Eros. They feel insignificant. They feel invisible. There's a feeling like they're not sure how much they want to have a lot of impact in the world. They want to be in the arena, but they don't want to take the risks that come with it, the very real risks. And so there's a lack of significance that comes with a person like this. And so they will actually create a sense of significance by hating on someone who is producing their own
Anything. It's a person whose significance is drawn through destruction versus creation.
Exactly. Quick video, quick fun video. One moment, please. Okay, get ready to, all right.
So why are we shocked that a girl that hates her life is talking shit about you? She doesn't even like herself. You think she's gonna like you? That's crazy.
Yes, we did it. No echo. Oh, I killed it. Okay, so short and sweet, but great reminder from this cute lady on TikTok doing a get ready with me video. And that post had like 500,000 likes or something, like this is definitely something that I think, actually, I was going to mention this thing. Maya had to teach me about women being jealous one day. Because, well, look at her. I mean, she's like this Italian beauty, right? And Maya is, I didn't tell her I was going to talk about any of this stuff. But so, okay, Maya is a strangely well-adjusted human being. She has an odd balance. She grew up in a certain way. I don't know what it is, but she's like a strangely well-adjusted human being, and she knows that she's beautiful. And I feel like she's always known that she was beautiful and had a certain just radiance kind of pouring out of her, And so I think from a young age, you've always just kind of known if a woman is jealous of you or like just stuck on you in some way because she wants something you have, or maybe just wants to be connected to you or whatever. And that's just part of life. Like you're literally like, take it in stride, maybe sometimes you play with it. Maybe sometimes you torture her a little bit about it. And probably most of the time you just kind of ignore it and you're just like, whatever, do what you want to do. Or you become friends with her, whatever it is. But that to me, I think you experience that as just part and parcel of being a radiantly beautiful woman in the world. You could tell I'm just as obsessed with Maya as the next. I'm Maya's stan, but I'm not harmful stan. um, and so she kind of had to teach me about jealousy in a way. Like, I don't know, this was a couple years ago, and there was like some woman orbiting me in some way or something, and I was like flipped upside down about it. My brain was just like, she said this to me today, and then she commented this on one of my things, and then she texted me this, and like was all wound up about it and was trying to, I'm like a put the puzzle together kind of investigator minded type person, and so I'm always trying to figure out like the psychology of things and stuff, and I'm like, I don't understand why she's acting like this towards me. And she's like, she's jealous. What are you talking about? And I'm like, what? Like genuinely, like it genuinely blew my mind. Like, and I had experienced it before around men, like women being jealous about a particular, like a man that you both are attracted to or something like that. But I had an experience just straight up and then it put a lot of experiences in my past in context. And I went back and had to investigate. It was like, oh my God. And then I think that thing in 2016 was this, she's like, yes. And I'm like, oh, okay. So there's this, it's like the more you do the work as a woman to bring out who you really are, and the mouthier you get, and also the more loving you are, like genuinely loving, where you have a certain interior wealth that you can just spend on being a kind person to other people, like the more, of your beauty that you bring out. Like I was thinking the other day, I was looking at some pictures of me from the distant past, and I was thinking about what I looked like then. And I love that Aubrey, I really do. But I like how I look now, probably more than at any other point in my life. And I'm 41, and I don't really care about age much, but I just thought it was kind of cool. I was like, I think I like how I look even more now than when I was like 21. I love that Aubrey, not denigrating her, feeling like she did anything wrong with her looks, but I just really like where I'm at now, and I feel like I've gotten even more beautiful over the years, and I love that.
Yeah.
And you get BC's trying to knock me out with with that adoration. um, so anyway, so I think it's a very real thing when you're a woman who is doing work in the arena and bringing out more of who you are into full expression and talking and being you and like letting out what's all the richness that's in here. You're gonna get people who are jealous. You're gonna get people who are kind of obsessed and kind of want what you have and kind of want to take it, and they might end up aiming some pretty harmful energy at you at times. There's extreme examples of this with celebrities and stuff like that, where people have actually like hurt the person that they, were obsessed with and things like that. And then there's more subtle examples. And I think that in a lot of ways, I think this is cancel culture. I think this is a really big aspect of cancel culture, especially in the part of it where it's women canceling women, where it's like mobs mostly driven by kind of more feminine energy, and it's at a woman. I think this is what's driving it a lot of the time is jealousy. Yeah, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, I think that the thing that I think the most about this is, we are constantly on the everyday trying to inspire women to enter into their erotic state and to not just talk about it, but actually practice it. Because there's only so far that you can go talking about your sexuality, your sense of self, your sense of understanding your desire, your sense of understanding your body if you don't have a direct connection with your sexuality and with your erotic being. And then there's this whole question of what we're talking about, which is that it's a kind of like a snake that eats its tail situation where on the one hand, then to be a woman that exposes her erotic nature comes with this threat of being hit. But to keep it concealed increases the lack of Eros within a culture that wants to hit it the moment it arises. And so right now where we are as a culture is we've receded so far from our erotic selves. And it's confusing, I think, for a lot of people because there's more openness around sexuality in conversation, in things like gay marriage, and things like what you can see on TV and in music videos, and all of these things that make it feel like, oh no, sexuality is so permissive, but there is a deeper, very real sense of people's actual direct connection to Eros and to their erotic selves that has backtracked significantly. And I don't know if I know for sure over the last 10 years, since I've been like really monitoring it's like when you monitor the air quality, it's like we've been monitoring like Eros quotient index.
Oh,
And
that's really good.
and so over the last 10 years of
EQI.
EQI, yeah, over the last few years of EQI, we've really noticed the levels are falling hard. And so it's this interesting thing of what you can't look at the display, the monitor on the screen of what we think it looks like, because it's not the actual true indicator of what it does, of what actually a society connected to their Eros would look like. A society connected to Eros would look like a more receptive, there would be more conversation, there would be more union, there would be more points of true connection where there would be divide, and we would see that politically, we would see that between men and women. there would be increased connection and increased understanding and an increased overall heat in society. And a lot of the things that have happened over the last 10 years specifically have really cooled everyone down to being much more regimented and rule bound than spontaneous and directly connected to the source that would then have us have that life.
I love that. That was so eloquent.
Thank you.
Okay, so why hating? Oh,
We have a comment. We have a comment on Instagram from Orlando who says, I'm waiting for the day that women take the initiative to approach the men they are attracted to. Since the Me Too movement, men have cocooned much, thus exacerbating the loneliness crisis. I think that's a great symptom and signifier of ways that
low AQI. EQI.
yeah, low EQI.
Absolutely. That is because women can approach, but we can also just like turn it on and send it over. You know what I mean? Like just turn on a thing and just zap, send it on over into your body, and then you'll get it and feel it and be like, she is calling me over silently, and then you go walk and approach, right? That's what the F is supposed to happen. And then, but now what you get is women unaware or just unwilling to take responsibility for that sending out that happens, and the sending out then lacks precision or is just it gets warped, like all kinds of it's still sending out, it's still doing its thing all the time underneath, and having a lot of response from men, but then the men are scared to approach because they don't want to be called like a violator basically in some way, or like something worse. And then the women won't own that they're doing it, and so they're starting to, I don't know, I'm worryingly seeing more and more videos where women are just like, I'm going to be celibate now. And I'm like, no. Not to say taking a minute sometimes and relating with your erotic being, it can honestly include moments like that. But there's a deeper, like, I'm like relinquishing or renouncing my relationship to my sexuality completely because it's just too much trouble and men are annoying. And it's like, no, you're lazy. Like, you're being super lazy.
Right. I mean, that's there's so many assumptions within that. That's assuming that you cutting off is going to be a solution, and then it's assuming that men are the problem, and that withholding this part of your own being from yourself and from them is going to help in any way. From Facebook. We have curious your thoughts on Eros in women in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, which I don't even see in the culture after menopause. I don't even see evidence of Eros in women.
I love Eros for women of all ages, over 18. But like I know at least I think like 10 women right off the top of my head who are practicing Eros in their lives actively, enthusiastically, self-defining from the inside out what their relationship to Eros looks like, and having like a beautiful sex lives, and really a practice of orgasmic meditation in some cases, and are, like I said, I'm 41, so I'm like, they're inspiring to me because I plan on not shutting down my Eros for my entire life till all the way to death. I'm gonna have connection to my desire all the way till I'm dying, like that's my plan. And so I look at women who are older and how they relate with their Eros and what they're doing with it and what it looks like for them, and feel deeply inspired. It never has to. A woman in my life who's, let's see, I think someone who's in her 60s. This was years ago, and I think she feels differently now. But I remember one day she was like, "Oh yeah, and it was like said from such a like kind of just giving up kind of place, you know? It said something like, "Oh well, it's just like nice to not have to deal with that anymore now that I'm finally like old, that I don't have to like deal with men being attracted to me anymore or like whatever." And deal, you know, and I was like, what in the heck is this? Like, it took me a minute to understand what was happening. And then I was like, oh, you're letting yourself off the hook of staying in a deeper relationship with your own erotic being, regardless of age, and you actually still have desire to do that. What were you gonna say?
I was just going to say that the ways that women let themselves off the hook are endless and so compelling, you know? And so you're younger, you let yourself off the hook because, saying that you're uncomfortable by the way that people are when you let it out. And so that's your reason when you're younger. Then you get older and you're uncomfortable that people would think of you a certain way once you're older, and that's your reason for being off. So there's always going to be a reason why it'll make you uncomfortable, somebody else uncomfortable to engage in Eros. Always.
Yeah. And I think I said to this person, I think I said, it's thrilling that you don't care what men think anymore. Couldn't the relating with the Eros be more fun now that you've made it out of that? Like, and that, because that's been really big for me. I know in my life, like the more I learn how much men actually just want to give me what I want, and that if I can communicate it well, they are not as attached as I would think they are to a particular kind of like sex, for example. You know, like a lot of times that's one way we let ourselves off the hook is women will just become so convinced that men just want sex in a particular way. And as long as we're good with going along with that and we feel turned on by that, we're fine. And then in a moment where we want something different, or want something different completely for more than a moment, and then we look at what's on the menu and we're like, I don't want that, so I'm just not going to engage. It's like, no, your desire drives it. And so learn how to communicate. I don't want anything on the menu that you're offering. Let's make a new menu entirely. And how to draw that out of someone. You know, that's actually not only a thing that we can do as women, but we're like made for that. And it works really well. It's just a matter of learning how to be in touch with your desire enough to know what you want and then communicate it in a way that draws that out of a person. This is something we can work on in coaching if you would like to have coaching with me or Maya. We do sell that. So, you know, and then all the different things that we do on the Eros platform and everything like has a lot to do with this kind of bridging the gap in these seemingly impossible places for all genders. That's a big one for women.
I would just like to take this moment to let everyone know how on the regular Aubrey inspires me. This is what we were talking today about, like how making a video, like how the media sees us, how our parents see us, how our friends see us, how we really are. We are like so Eros, many things, nerds, we like
Monks.
yeah. And so we really go into just intricate detail on all of the mechanics of our own erotic relationship, how it relates with other people. And Aubrey really inspires me weekly, daily, on ways that she'll explain just like these little moments. And I was thinking about this yesterday, how these moments that happen in our lives, they're just so small, and yet it's kind of like everything. Like you learn how to engage erotically in a situation, with us, let's say, with a man where you're talking about your desire, and it's nothing spectacular in terms of what's actually happening, but internally it's just everything. And you feel, you hear another woman talk about it, and it's just inspiring for life. It is life-giving. And that is the potential when you not only seek a path of exploring Eros, but you do it in connection with other women. You find people who are, like we say often, when you find your kind of other people who do this, there is nothing more life-giving than all of those little moments where you can make an advance in breaking through some kind of conditioned reality out beyond how to do it.
Yeah. That's the kind of relationships with women and with yourself on the other side of my little line that I talked about in the beginning, the party town over here of unconditionality. You get like your erotic relationship to yourself and your sexuality and your desire and your body. And then you get these like really deep relationships with other women, and you get these really cool channels with the men in your life where you're learning how to draw out their genius and their brilliance. This is all party. This is the things happening over here in erotic party town that over here on this side of the line.
Not as fun.
No,
Not as fun, let me tell you.
no. Over here, women really think men have the power. Or, well, they don't even, I think they actually don't even really believe that, but they live like that. And sometimes believe it. And then do competition, a lot of competition and backbiting and stuff with each other to claw for like status and position and attention from either men or masculine structures or a masculine ethos that isn't even made for or suitable for women, for woman. It's like not even our native thing. And we're like, and then women are like clawing for position inside of it. It's crazy. I have a video for this. Hold on. Okay, let's see here. Let me just see which one sorry. Well, no, I don't have a video.
We don't have videos.
Cool, it's been not quite for that. Okay, so let me go back to my little outline here. We've got about 15 minutes. So if someone could, Rachel Regan, if you could post the illusion that women create sutra, a link to that from the Eros platform into the Zoom chat and into any social streams, that would be great. It's in volume 4, and it's a lengthy sutra. But part of my outline today is from this sutra, so I want you guys to be able to read it in its entirety if you would like to, but it is so excellent. It's a sutra that basically describes how women conceal power and sort of the entire system that exists in the world that is very much held together by men and women to kind of keep women's power concealed. And it goes into the math and the specifics of how that system operates. And it reads very different than any other sutra in any other volume. It kind of reads like an instruction manual, but like an instruction manual from hell that you would not want to actually follow, but that like everyone is following, at least on this side of the line. This side of the line over here in Eros Party Town, the game is undoing all of that. Like in every single moment, how do I choose liberation, sovereignty, freedom, connection, real connection? How do I choose to be connected to the Eros in my body instead of suppress it? The game over here is actually undoing all of that. The game over here is following that instruction manual from hell, the illusion women create, okay? So check that sutra out for sure. But the thing I wanted to say about it is that it's when you're spending all of your time, energy, and attention on concealing power. I'm going to reiterate something from the beginning also, because we're streaming and there's some people who might not have been on here the whole time. You will have to find an external source of power. It's something to fixate on, or someone to fixate on, or someone to drop something, or someone to draw power from, because this way over here of operating doesn't produce that. And we're all really hungry for that, like down to a bone deep, like soul level. Like we're hungry for that. We're hungry for meaning. We're hungry for feeling our where we belong in the tapestry of life. You know, like we're hungry to know our place in things, and to feel connection, and to be seen, and to know the truth about things. You know, and all of that comes from being plugged in with your own erotic being. And so if you're not, you're gonna need to obsess over something externally, or hate on it, or be a stan about it, or whatever, in order to draw power from it. So, let's see. Let me just check my little outline here and see if I covered most of what I wanted to say. Oh, this piece is really important to know. When a feminine power is not expressed in the culture as much, when the EQI, when the erotic quality index is low, because the AQI, you want it to be low. The EQI, you want it to be high, okay? So when the EQI is low, the culture loses the ability to recognize erotic power. And you're seeing that a lot right now, you know? And so for those of us who boldly have crossed the line and decided to be a yes to all the things that come with it, you know, the consequences, the very real consequences that come with that choice, it's important that we own that and demonstrate that interior wealth of erotic power, whatever that is for you, however you relate to that, whether it's through this path or something else in your life that has you have an emanation of that in the world, you know, or radiance in that way. Like, it's important that we demonstrate that in the world, and talk about it, and share the transmission of that, you know, like we're doing right now, however that looks for you, because otherwise the culture literally loses the ability to recognize it and know what it is, you know. And so one thing that we do periodically is we're just, you know, well, I guess we're just always doing this every single day. It's not really periodically. This is like our main goal in life, which is like, how do we turn up the signal of that? You know, it's like, how do we turn up the transmission of that frequency and that signal out into the world together, collectively, between all of us who understand that and understand the importance of it. How do we really crank it up so that the culture doesn't lose its ability to recognize what that is? Because that is the plug-in to meaning and to life itself. It is so important. And the cosmic joke of it all, I feel like, is that people who have that, you know, who have the interior wealth and have that erotic power, or have that radiance or that beauty or that wisdom flowing through or whatever, are also for some reason the people more likely to, you know, dismiss it or be like, I'm not that important. You know, as Cat Williams, the comedian, would be like, you know, a tiger that's been in captivity for a really long time, talking to the other tigers, being like, are you sure I'm even a tiger anymore? Are you sure I'm not just a vicious koala bear? You know, like, we forget who we are. We forget that we have the goods. We forget that we have the gem that the whole world is hungry for, that we actually have that inside. And then, you know, other louder voices will go on the ride of that and be like, maybe I should deeply question myself and doubt everything I am as a person. That might be smart, huh? You know, like, we're like the people more likely to do that, I think, because why is that?
Well, I think that I mean, one is that it's hard to live in a world without reflection. So in a world that is starved of Eros, you really just don't have a lot of reflection of the gift and strength that having Eros has. And so to know something like these are very subtle examples, but like those who are in touch with Eros are good at hospitality, and they appreciate how people feel in their presence, and so like people might be gracious and say thank you for that, but also often they might not even understand why they feel better in a room that you have. They might even not even know that it was you that created that feeling in them, And so I think that that's partially why, and I think that also, like we were saying in the beginning, that a lot of people who have Eros are treated as children and are treated as that those erotic qualities are immature or infantilized, so that which is a means of controlling that force. And so then if you think that if you then take that on and then you infantilize yourself, then you will slowly reject those qualities, those from within you.
Yeah, yeah, and just I cannot. It is it's so challenging not to take on projection from the outside. Like I know for me, I don't want to be delusional or like grandiose or something like that in my view of myself. And so I'm like, oh, let me take in every single critical, demonizing projection of me and my path and my sexuality and the things that I believe in, and really run myself through the ringer of all of that crap to make sure that I don't get too like egotistical. And it's like, I would win the game of life if we tipped into slightly too.
It's part of our relationship.
Yeah, yeah. Like I would like
My Italian nature doesn't do that so much, and so I regularly.
she's like, bitch. Oh, I'm swearing, damn it. But it's like no, like the one like the those of us who would constantly question ourselves are usually the ones that could do with a lot less of that. And those who might never freaking question themselves ever and just be like following the status quo, doing everything right, don't ever think about anything or anyone else. It's great, like would do well to be like, maybe I should look at some things, And so it's just something to remember, but not taking on the projections and continuing no matter what and demonstrating the the wealth that you have inside and sharing that signal or that transmission or that frequency out into the world is so important. It's so important. We have to keep making sure that the culture just even knows what that food is. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like we cannot we are collectively responsible for making sure that doesn't get lost in the chaos. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up. And I'm gonna finally play my video surprise for Maya, which is in fact a Cat Williams video, but not the tiger one. So we're gonna like fully end on this video. And so do you want to do a little like a pitch for the platform or anything else? Any final words now? Because we're like fully end on this video.
Absolutely. So if you are watching this video in this present moment, it is November 26th. We want to say happy Thanksgiving to you tomorrow. We also have a lot going on the Eros platform and just in the whole world of Eros. So number one is that if you want to get in any way more connected to your own erotic relationship to yourself and others, we have just so many things, so many ways to help that. We have private coaching, we have retreats that we do. We have a winter retreat coming up in New York City that's at the end of December, a beautiful retreat where you can practice orgasmic meditation and learn it and really fill up. Everything that we do tethers back to that very personal, direct knowing of your erotic relation to yourself. So any of those things that you would like, we have a Black Friday special through this weekend going on. So whether it's coaching, whether it's one of those retreats, our online membership to the Eros platform is 50% off the year. So any of that is interesting to you, you can go to erosplatform.com and see all of those, and you can also contact us directly through there.
Yes. All right. And thank you everyone who joined on Zoom and all the various streams today. It was a really fun talk. It was really cool to see how it unfolded, and I loved the questions and comments on the stream as well and integrating that in. So thank you everyone who joined. I'm going to end on this very funny video now, and we will see you next time.
You gotta be grateful, you need haters. What the fuck is you complaining about? What the fuck do you think a hater's job is? To fucking hate, so let them motherfuckers do their goddamn job. What the fuck is you complaining about? Ladies, if you got 14 women hating on you, you need to figure out how the fuck to get to 16 before the summer get here. Fellas, if you got 20 haters, you need 40 of them motherfuckers. What is you complaining about? If there's any haters in here right now that don't have nobody to hate on, feel free to hate on me. Sit back there and say my hair ain't luxurious when you know it is, bitch.